welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and what a joy, a delight, a fun thing to do, and a crazy thing to do, all mixed together. When you have Tim Elbert in the house, you kind of go, huh? Anyway, he's one of our regular guests and one of the top guys in his field, and he heads up the Four Seasons Nursery out on Crater Lake Highway. If you go out Highway 62 and you get off on, oh, I'm not on, talk for a minute, Tim. Welcome to yourself. What do you do?
Well, hey, everybody. Perry's microphone is off. And
there you go. I got it back on.
Welcome to Focus Today.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Anyway, a little tech thing going on there. Hey, anyway, welcome to Focus Today, and Tim's with us from the Four Seasons. You go out Highway 62. You get off on Violet Road, you go up a little bit, and you can't miss the nursery. It's got all the beautiful hanging baskets and flowers and things. But look what he brought to the studio today to give away. This is gorgeous.
Yes, I'm giving away my mum.
Well, does she know that? What is this?
Well, of course, this is a garden mum, and I chose this one because of the really nice lavender-colored flower with a white center. A little bit of green even in that center too, so it's a really colorful one. It's very nice, lots of color on that. Look great on the table for the next couple of weeks, or out in the garden, or in a container or something like that. So really a nice plant. The mums are looking really exceptional right now. So
how long will this go?
This will go for several more weeks yet. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's the deal. If you got a question about what's going on in your yard, give us a call. Now, here's the number to call to get on the air. It's not our normal number. It's a separate number, 541-776-5770. Did you get that? 541-776-5770. And if you have a question for Tim about what's going on in your yard, from plants to bugs to moving things to killing things to harvesting things, whatever it is, give him a call. 541-776-5368, and then your name goes in the hat, and somebody at the end of the program is going to win this beautiful mum, and you'll be on your way. I can't believe how perfectly round it is.
Yeah, they do what they call a pinching, where when they reach a certain point, they go through and they pinch the tips to get them to branch. And of course, pinching them correctly will get them to branch in a nice, perfect round ball. And so if you can imagine, when you've got a greenhouse full of literally thousands of mums, wow, and how many people have to go in there and start pinching, and it's all hand done, and so it's quite the process.
You need to take a picture of that sometime so we can. Now, is this grown in your greenhouse?
We don't grow these, no. By the time we're done with the summer stuff, we grow our pansies, and then we're done. We've got some ground covers and perennials coming for spring, which is exciting. But definitely the mums are one that we used to grow, but we don't anymore.
All right, so anyway, if you want to get your name in the hat to win this beautiful mum, give us a call. Here's the number now to get on the air. It's 541-776-53. No, I'm sorry, I goofed. My mistake. I got to get my head straight. 776-5770. Did you get that? 776-5770. That's the number to call to get on the air. All right, is it Loris? Are you there? Hello? Didn't get Loris. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. We've got a little bit of an issue here. We'll get this straightened out in just a moment. I see a lot of things flashing, but nothing really working yet. All right, so warm days, cool nights. Things are turning pretty fast. You got any warnings for us?
Yes, actually. As we start to see these colors starting to form on our trees, the one thing to think about right now is dormant sprays. And if I can put a word in your head, instead of saying dormant sprays, I would say copper. Think copper. Really? Copper's a great color for fall, so maybe that'll help us remind us. But they have pulled lime sulfur off the market, so we don't have the lime sulfur anymore for a dormant spray. All we have left is copper. And so it makes things a lot more simple, because you don't have to try to remember, is it this spray or that spray? It's one spray that you're going to use on your fruit trees and a lot of your other plants too, to help control any of those overwintering diseases and things like that.
Dormant spray, that's the operative word of the day.
That's the name of October. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phones. Peggy, thanks for your patience. What's going on with your vernaculars? Hello? Go ahead. Oh, we got some technical challenges going on here today that maybe I need some dormant spray. It ain't working. All right, I don't know what they're doing in there. We'll wait.
Well, one thing that's really exciting that we're excited to be bringing out right now is we are putting together a dormant spray. I shouldn't say dormant. A fruit care newsletter. Oh. So, we have our regular newsletter, then we have a lawn care newsletter that's specifically about lawns, and now we're putting together a newsletter, an email newsletter that is specifically for fruit trees, berries, nuts, that kind of thing, that will help to remind you when it's time to dormant spray, when it's time to prune, things to be watching for, fertilizing, and all that kind of stuff. So really excited, we're going to be putting that out. If you don't get our normal email newsletter, go to our website, www.fourseasonsnurseryonline.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter, email newsletter. In about 2 weeks, we'll be sending out the information that will allow you to be able to sign up for the separate fruit tree care newsletter. So, yeah.
FourSeasonsOnline.com?
FourSeasonsNurseryOnline.com.
Oh, Four Seasons Nursery.
All spelled out, really long, but hey.
Long name, great place. All right. FourSeasonsNurseryOnline.com. Check that out.
Type it out once, bookmark it, and you're done.
All right. I'm going to try this again. Let's see if we can get it. Peggy, are you there? No, we got some phone issues going on. I have no idea what's going on. All right, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Any kind of lawn care going on now? I mean, it's all of a sudden that little rain we had, everything popped up green. You notice that? There's a green fuzz all over town. Oh, weeds.
Oh my goodness, yes. Even in the nursery, we're getting them out of there as quickly as we can. But yes, the weeds have started to go crazy. But yes, this is the time that we want to prepare our lawn for winter. And so right now, and again, if you're getting our lawn care newsletter, we just sent this out. But an application of the Fertilome Classic and an application of the Natural Guard Soil Activator. And these two items are going to work together to create a good nutrient bed for your lawn, help to increase your lawn's winter hardiness, and to break down thatch and dead grass. And so putting those two things on is really important. We also had an alert go out, and this is another thing that we do on our newsletters, is whenever there's something that is we seem to be seeing a lot of, or a problem of, people are coming in with problems, we can put this out as an alert and say, watch for this. And this is what's happening right now in lawns. We're seeing a lot of the crane fly laying eggs right now. Oh. And
what does that mean?
The crane fly, we used to call them mosquito eaters. The great big, look like giant mosquitoes. And when the eggs hatch, they hatch as little white grubs that feed on the crown of the lawn. That's the area between the green and the root, and they feed on that. So if they're laying eggs now, they're going to hatch in spring, and you're going to have a tremendous loss in your lawn. Wow. And so we are suggesting an application of the high-yield grub-free zone right now as well, to help counteract that. We usually say do that in February. Highly recommend you put it on now and again in February. So,
wow. All right, is it pet friendly?
It is. You put it down, water it in. Pets aren't going to bother us.
All right. All right, we'll get our phone thing straightened out here in just a moment, but jot this new number down. It's 541-776-5770. And when you're calling with your question, your name will go in the hat for this beautiful moment. This one is spectacular. The camera shot on this is gorgeous. It's kind of a light lavender, white, and a little yellow and a little green in there. And you got other colors, I would assume, but this one is just spectacular.
Yes, and if this is not your color, we'll be happy to switch it out for another one.
Okay, all right. Other colors like white, yellow.
Yeah, there's white and yellow and kind of an amber color, coppery colored. Yes, lots of different ones.
All right, check it out. All right. Okay, let me take a quick break, And our phone number again is 541-776-5770. And we'll be back with Tim Elbert.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at theDove TV. Did you know that when you support theDove TV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.
Okay, we're back with Tim Elbert from the Four Seasons Nursery. We apologize for a little bit of a tech glitch there, but we got that straightened out. We're going to take your phone calls. They're going to answer them in there, and we can read the questions, and we'll move on. And again, the phone number is 776-5770. Got that? 541-776-5770, and your name will go in the hat for this beautiful mum. Now, if you don't like this one, we'll get you counseling, but or another color, either way. But this is gorgeous, this lavender. I've never seen a one as pretty as that, and they're just almost perfectly round. All right, Peggy wants to know when to prune the Russian red sage and how far to cut it back.
Well, the sage can be pruned anytime now. Sage is a summer plant and is beginning to crash right now. So absolutely you can go ahead and do any of that pruning you want to now. As far as how back goes, at least halfway. You want to really prune them pretty hard. If you look really close down into the center of the plant, you'll see some new buds forming and developing, and you can prune right down to there. And that may be only inches from the ground, but it will work just fine, and the plant will recover from that really well.
All right. Now, a question we get quite often, Tim. In fact, I was kind of tempted to ask you this question, too, because I think I know what the answer is, but maybe not, because I'm not as smart as you. Loris wants to know, when is it time to cut down the hydrangea?
Well, why don't you answer that question, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. How's that?
You don't do it until it's completely dead. And then even then, you're supposed to wait till when?
Dig it up and throw it. No. Well, you know, it is a really hard question to answer, and it can be very confusing because there's so many varieties of hydrangea, and the pruning can be different for each one. So, the older style hydrangeas, you want to prune those back lightly. You can do it now and be just fine, but you don't want to prune all of this year's growth off. So you want to prune back maybe half of this year's growth and allow the rest of it to produce flowers for you next year. If you need to cut it way back, do that late spring, early summer, so it has plenty of time to develop more growth because it's going to bloom on the previous year's growth. So it blooms on second year growth only. Now, some of the new varieties like Endless Summer, Twist and Shout, Blushing Bride, there's a few of them. They are unique in that they bloom on the first year growth. So you could prune those anytime, as far back as you want to, and it won't matter. They'll still recover and bloom. And so if you've got old ones, come out, put the new ones in.
Okay, well, Peggy's been very patient. She left them, you know,
yes,
but they are brown.
Yeah, you know,
but
and
the plant, the green part's green. You
can take those. Actually, you can even do this while it's on the plant. You can take those flowers and you can spray paint them, and they look absolutely wonderful on the.
That'd be kind. Do a rainbow of colors, and people come by and go,
"What's that?" Yeah, you know, just some different. Get a little can of blue and a little can of red, and just spray a little here and there, and you'll end up with some purplish.
Right.
And,
All right, thanks, Loris. Hope that helps. Anyway, our phone number here to ask Tim a question is 541-776-5770. That's the number to. They're going to take your question and send it to us here in the studio. We'll get it answered for you. Abby, thanks for calling in. And yours is what to put on the rose bushes now in the fall to avoid the black spots.
Okay. Well, we're getting really close to that. It's still a little early for roses. We want to let them go dormant more, and that takes some colder temperatures for them to go dormant. So we want those to continue to, they're going to put on a little more bloom here right now. Mine at home are just starting to flush up another bloom.
Yeah.
But right around the middle of November, I say right around Thanksgiving, you'll want to go through and cut them off about waist high. Don't worry about how to cut it, angles, whatever. Just cut it, and then clean all that up.
That's the bush, not the tree.
Right, the bushes, yeah. and then that's when you want to spray. And usually we say lime sulfur for those, but because there's no more lime sulfur, it's going to be copper, and you'll use the copper on them as a thorough soaking around them, and that should help control that black spot. All
right, get that? That's a good one. And by the way, be listening for the magic formula coming up after Christmas.
Yes, yes.
And if you've never had it, never done it, I'll tell you this. If it doesn't work for you, Tim will buy a hamburger.
You know, I can't tell you how many people have come in and have commented after having used it how their roses look really, really good.
Yeah, we're going to call it the Anita Rose Miracle or something like that. My mother taught us this, and it works.
Yes.
Okay, we won't say what it is. We'll wait till that a little bit later. All right, the phone number, 541-776-5770. And when you call in, your name's going to ask, somebody's going to win this gorgeous, gorgeous mum to look pretty on your table or by your front door or something. All right, Sheila wants to know how and when to cut back clematis. There seems to be a lot of dead stuff left on it.
Well, with anything, if you've got dead stuff, you can cut it off. If it's dead, it's dead. It's not coming back, you know. So go ahead, cut off the dead, and that's fine. And you can do that anytime. But clematis have different pruning schedules. And if you were to look it up and try to find out what it is, they have pruning type A, type B, type C. And so it really depends on the type of clematis you have as to what the proper pruning is. The way I figure it is that if it is a spring bloomer, only blooms in the spring but doesn't bloom through summer, then just do light prunings on it in the fall. If it blooms all summer long, prune it heavily in the fall. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
So
there you go.
There you go.
All right, Laura wants to know pruning a snowball bush, when and how.
Okay, snowball bush are producing their flower buds right now.
Oh.
And you won't see them because they're inside these tiny little buds along the stems, and they just look like normal buds. So do not prune those heavily right now. If you prune them heavily, you will lose blooms for spring. So kind of like rhododendrons and azaleas and all that really early spring blooming stuff, you want to wait on that until it's finished blooming. Once it's done blooming, then go through and hack it back as far as you want. Snowball bush recover very well from pruning, and sometimes they get really out of control and out of hand. So cutting them way back every once in a while really helps out.
All right. Again, Tim is with us from the Four Seasons Nursery, and the number to ask him a question here is 541-776-5770. Four Seasons Nursery, what are your hours now?
We're still 9 to 5 every day.
9 to 5 every day. Go out Crater Lake Highway, get off on Highway 62, get off on Vilas Road, hop on the frontage road, and just go up about a half mile. You can't miss it. You'll see all the beautiful flowers. You got all kinds of color. You got mums. What else you got? You got pansies now?
Yep, pansies are in, including the wave pansies, the trailing ones.
Oh, really?
So we have those. We have some beautiful cabbages and kales, all different styles. There's even a kale that looks like a tree. It has a big long stem and then these funky little leaves that look like a little Dr. Seuss tree. They're really kind of cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling Vicki. She wants to know how and when to prune the boxwood. The leaves are beginning to curl.
Oh, well, you can prune boxwood now. We try to keep from pruning them when it's really hot because they tend to burn a little bit when you do. But since our temperatures have dropped back down, we're safe to prune those now. So go through and shear. Make sure you have nice, sharp pruning shears when you go to prune those, because it'll make a nice clean cut and there'll be less damage to it. So go through, sharpen them up real good. If you don't have a way of sharpening, bring them down to the nursery. We sharpen them for free. So And then, you know, we try to keep our plants very happy, and we want, yeah. So we sharpen for free.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, anyway, Four Seasons Nursery, and sign up for the newsletter. That comes out pretty regular, right?
Yeah, we have a kind of a monthly normal newsletter. It just tells what's in, what might be on special. You know, if we're having any kind of a coupon or anything, it'll be in there. And then we also have a lawn care newsletter specifically for lawns. Okay. And tells you when to put stuff down. And it's a nice reminder, because we always forget. We remember in the spring, and then about middle of summer we're having too much fun, so we forget. So so that's that. And then the new one that's coming out, the fruit tree care newsletter, should be coming out in a couple of weeks.
All right, so that's Four Seasons Nursery online.com. FourSeasonsNurseryOnline.com. Long name, great place. As far as I'll go with that. Thanks for calling, Carol. She wants to know how to prune an oak leaf hydrangea. It's 19 years old. Does she prune the last year's blooms?
Yes, you can prune off the old blooms, and you can do that anytime. The oak leaf hydrangea are very unique and have an incredible fall color. In fact, I just planted one in my yard this year. I love them. They only come in white flowers, but they bloom long and late into the season. So yeah, you can prune off those, but don't do a lot of heavy pruning unless you have to. If it's getting really, really big and you really need to cut it back, cut it back. And it should produce some new blooms for you next year, even still, because they're kind of late blooming anyways. So should be okay with that anytime.
All right, there you go. All right, the phone number again is 776-5770, and Tim's here taking your calls. And again, we apologize for a little bit of a tech issue today, but they'll get your question. They'll send it to us here, and we'll read it. And your name will go on the hat for a beautiful mum. This one here now, if you don't like lavender and white, we'll get you counseling. Or we'll get you another color, right?
That's
you got
right.
the yellow, you got the bronze, you got the white. They're just beautiful.
Pinks and purples. And
now, the pansies you guys do grow, don't you?
Yes, we do.
In your greenhouse?
Yeah.
And they'll go right into freezing weather.
Oh, yeah, the pansies will grow all winter long. And we had a lot of people last year who were astonished at how after we had that really cold weather, the pansies just came right up out of the snow and kept on blooming like crazy. Right. And they will. Yeah, they're very, very tough.
And these are locally grown right there in the Elbert greenhouse. And Tim's dad does a wonderful job with these. You got all kinds of them. All right, Mike wants to know, when's the best time to plant a tree, fall or spring?
20 years ago.
Well, sorry, Mike. We'll keep your name in the hat anyway.
Yeah. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. You know, everybody wants a tree for some, specific reason, and trees are being so slow. Yeah. To get that shade, get it in as soon as you can. Don't hesitate. There's a great selection of trees right now, and it's a good time to put them in because they're going to go dormant soon, and so the soil's easy to work, and you can get that tree planted. It will develop some roots. Probably not going to grow a lot, but in the spring it will really take off. As opposed to if you plant it in the spring, you're about a year behind. So it's a great time to put trees in.
Okay. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more calls. If you have any questions or thoughts or ideas, but primarily questions, give us a call. Here's the number now for getting your question on the air, 541-776-5770. They'll get your question. We'll ask Tim. Your name will go in the hat. Who knows? You could win this beautiful mum. Tim Elbert from the Four Seasons Nursery. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Daniel and I work at theDove TV. Compared to Portland, Seattle, and LA, Medford might be considered a small market, but at theDove, we're excited about the opportunity to make a big impact right here in our community. And you help make that happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us now by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or by phoning 541-776-5368.
Hi, we're back with Tim Elbert, heads up the Four Seasons Nursery, and that's on Crater Lake Highway, Highway 62. Get off on Vilas Road, just go up a little bit, you'll see it there, 9 to 5 every day. And if you want to get his newsletters, which is an incredible resource, not only for your lawn and planting and coupons and all that, and it's called fourseasonsnurseryonline.com. fourseasonsnurseryonline.com. All right, we're taking your questions today. Here's the number to do that. That's 541-776-5770. And as you get your question to our folks in the control room, they'll pass it on to us, and then your name goes in the hat for a beautiful mum from the Four Seasons Nursery. Whether you want this one or another color, but this one is spectacular. It's lavender around the outside, white in the middle, a little bit of yellow and green down in the center of it. Just gorgeous. All right, Mike wants to know, he says his grass died, and then it rained, but it's not growing. What should he do?
Well, you know, we always say something died. You know, when it comes to plants, we say it died and then it came back to life. But in many cases, if it came back to life, it didn't really die. It was just dormant and looked dead.
Yeah.
But when something is dead, nothing short of a miracle is going to bring it back to life. Yeah. So, you know, if your lawn's not coming back, and then it is seriously, truly dead. Yeah. So things you can try: prayer, holy water. Anyways, you know, if it's not coming back, the thing to do is to get in there, and I like to just use a thatcher and just kind of thatch it up as good as you can. Clean all that out and reseed, and you should have a nice lawn come back.
You don't have to aerate it, get a little.
You know, it doesn't hurt, and aerating, you know, especially if you've got compacted soil or things like that, then yeah, good idea. But you may only need to thatch. So check that out and see if the soil's pretty good underneath. Then thatching is all you need to do.
Yeah, and Mike, I got to tell you, I have the same problem, you know, but I mowed it really, really short, almost like thatching.
Yeah.
And that last rain, you can look down in there and you can see some green coming back.
Yeah, a little algae. Yeah.
Oh well, I tried.
A little moss coming in there, but.
All right, Peggy wants to know about pruning her vernaculars, the long strays.
Veronica.
Yeah. The Veronica. I'm sorry. I thought the Veronica. I can't see that far away. Okay.
Okay. So.
What's a Veronica?
Well, Veronica is a really nice little perennial. There's several different varieties. It has kind of a dark green, usually dark green foliage with spikes of blue or pink on them, and they're probably finishing up blooming now. So you can go through and just shear off the dead flower stalks and clean it up, and it'll look wonderful. It will still keep its foliage pretty much through the winter, so unless we have a really hard winter, which we shouldn't have. So just prune the flower stalks off, and you're in pretty good shape with those.
Okay. Nancy wants to know, thanks for calling, Nancy. Her hawthorn has black spots. She wants to get it healthy. What does she do?
Copper.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that time, and that's one of the ornamentals that really does well with a good copper spray in the fall and again in the spring, just as the new growth begins to appear. So. Right, you know, I say middle of October, so we're coming right up on that. Get a copper spray on that. If you have laurels and photinia, copper spray. You know how the photinia have had the problems with powdery mildew the last few years. Copper spray in the fall really, really will help. You can get some copper spray, hook it up to a hose end sprayer, and go around and do the whole yard. And copper is really, really very safe to use. The variety that we have, the brand that we have is put out by Monterey, and it's a very stable form, and so it doesn't require adding an oil to or anything like that, or a spreader sticker. It's very stable. Once you spray it on there, it doesn't really wash off, so it does a great job. It's going to, you know how copper, when it oxidizes, has that green patina? Your plants are going to have a little bit of patina on them. Okay. But it will be just fine. So.
All right. I think we got our phones going here again. Melody, are you there about your hydrangea? Melody. Are you there, Melody? Okay. We still got a little bit of it. She wants to know, her hydrangea has no blooms. So now what?
no blooms on the hydrangea. Well, again, that's a tough one to answer. If it's one of the newer varieties, and you know what variety it is, then go ahead and prune it way back and fertilize it. Yeah, this time of year, probably not going to get much more for bloom, but in the spring, if it comes back out again, fertilize it really good, and it should still produce blooms. An older variety, if it's not producing a lot of blooms or not producing any blooms at all, add some superphosphate or bone meal or any other form of phosphorus to the root system to help increase its chances of building new blooms. Don't do any major pruning on it. Just little minor things here and there is okay, but leave it alone and see if it doesn't produce blooms for you next year. Hydrangeas like morning sun and afternoon shade. And a lot of times we'll put them in places where they're not getting quite enough sun. And if that's the case, you may have to dig and move that hydrangea to a sunnier location.
All right, morning sun, afternoon shade. Again, the new phone number to get a question to Tim, 541-776-5770. All right, Sue's called, and we've answered this kind of, sort of. When is it time to start pruning roses?
Well, to do your, what I call a fall cleanup prune, is right around Thanksgiving, middle of November.
Leave them alone now.
Yeah, leave them alone now. You should still be, you can prune the dead blooms off and encourage more. Mine are pushing out lots of new blooms right now. Yeah. So you can go through and still get lots of good blooms on them for another month or so yet. But about the middle of November, go through, prune them off about waist high. That just kind of reduces the amount of stuff you have to spray and kind of cleans them up. You get that stuff, get it out of there, clean up around them, get them sprayed, and then you'll do your final pruning in February. So I say Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day. And right around both of those two times, your final pruning, that's when you'll go through and you'll take out all the real thick, heavy canes and all the tiny little canes and just leave the, I call them thumb-sized canes, and then you'll prune those back to the proper height, etc. then.
All right. Check it out, and then I think be watching and listening right after Christmas. We'll tell you the secret formula.
Yes. Yep.
We got to figure out a way to bag that.
Well, we decided this year we were going to combine the ingredients together and sell it bulk so that you wouldn't have to buy a whole bunch of stuff and mix it at home. Yeah. And so we have done that, and so we will have it available in bulk after the first of the year again. Yes. So you come in, you buy it by the pound. So
wow, yeah. Wonderful. All right, Diane, as a mini lilac grew long stems, should she prune it back to the original size? And if so, when?
Yeah, the lilacs will use up a lot of extra nutrients and moisture all through the summer, and they'll produce these gigantic shoots that come way up, and so if that's what you've got, go ahead and prune those back so they're nice and even with the rest of the plant. But don't prune anything else because, again, those flower buds are forming in the buds right now. And if you prune them all back heavily right now, you won't have any blooms next spring. And lilacs have about 3 weeks where they are absolutely the best plant in the world, and the rest of the time they're just ho-hum. So make sure that you keep something there so that you have some blooms for you next year.
All right, I hope that helps, Diane. All right, 776-5770, the number to get a question to Tim, and your name will go in the hat for a beautiful mum, one of the great fall colors and fall flowers, I should say, this and the pansies, and what else you got out there that's blooming?
Well, we talked about the kale and cabbages, and let's see, we just got in some fresh, lots of fresh plants in some heathers. Now the heathers are that we've got coming in have interesting foliage color. So they turn these kind of a yellow to orange color, and you plant them in the yard and they just look fabulous through the wintertime, and then they're back to kind of a green through the summer. So those are really nice. The coral bells right now, there's probably a dozen varieties of coral bells in the nursery right now, all different colors. One called Electra I love it. Has kind of a chartreuse colored leaf with red veins.
Wow.
And if I can remember, I'll bring one of those next week.
Okay.
But they are absolutely fabulous. Just a really neat plant.
All right. All right, before we take a break, let me give you these numbers again. 541-776-5770. And that's the number to get a question to Tim, and then your name's going in the hat for a beautiful mom. And what a great weekend. I think we're supposed to be like, at least here in our immediate area, upper 70s and low 80s through the week, or excuse me, in the 80s, possibly 90s through the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a fabulous weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it cools off. Now, coming in this morning, a little before 5, it was in the 40s.
Yes.
So it's getting cool at night.
Getting cool at night. And that's what really sets those fall colors. When we have dry weather and cool, cold nights and warm days. And so you can start looking around and seeing and watching as those colors begin to form. And if you are watching the colors and you see how colors go, that is your key sign of when to do your dormant spraying. And so as soon as you see those colors forming, then get your fruit tree sprayed. So that's what we watch for.
All right. Lena wants to know, when is it a good time to transplant? Is it a hosta? Hosta?
Hosta, yes.
Hosta.
You know, the hostas are going to go dormant pretty soon. So I suggest that they wait until they go completely dormant. And you'll know because those great, big, huge, beautiful green or blue or yellow or variegated leaves will all of a sudden turn brown. When that happens at the first frost, that's when you can go through and dig those and move those, transplant them. They'll be just fine.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Again, the number to get a question to Tim is 541-776-5770. Get your question in and get your name in the hat for a beautiful, I mean, this thing is spectacular, mum. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paula, and I work at theDove TV. Every day we get letters and emails from people who've been encouraged, blessed, and challenged by the programs on theDove TV. But we couldn't do it without you. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to bring inspiration and hope to our community by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or call us at 541-776-5368.
Okay, we're back, and this is your final segment with Tim Elbert. And if you've been wanting to get a question in to ask him about what's going on or what to do in your yard, this is a great opportunity. The phone number to do that, it's a special phone number, 541-776-5770. Did you get that? 541-776-5770. And as you call in with your question, your name will go in the hat. And coming up in a few moments, somebody's going to win this beautiful mum. All right. Earlier, you made the comment when you're pruning flowers, you prune them back to the stalk.
Yes.
What is that? I mean, how far is that? Well, I mean, like on this, would that be clear down here?
Well, clarifying that.
Yeah.
You want to prune back to where it branches out. So where when the flower stalk goes and connects to the next branch.
Okay.
That's kind of where you want to prune. Now you can that's typical for things like a rose or a hydrangea or something like that. But when you've got, I think what we were talking about then was the Veronica. It had these big long spikes of flower stalks that come up, and you've got a whole bunch of things. Or a mum, when the mums are finished blooming. You would be there forever just going back and pruning back to that. So with those, it doesn't really matter. What you want to do is just get a good pair of sharp shears and just shear them. And then it doesn't make a big difference where they'll still flush out and continue to do their thing.
All right. Ron says he's got mildew on his lilac. What does he do?
Well, copper spray. Now, we don't think that, okay, they're going to go dormant soon, they're going to drop their leaves, and so it's not a huge deal. But in reality, though, a lot of those spores, they're microscopic, and they will be on the flower buds, they'll be on the stalks, and when that new growth begins to come out in the spring, it will end up with it and you'll have all kinds of trouble. So if you don't want to spray a lot, wait until the foliage falls. Clean all the leaves up, don't compost them, throw them away, get rid of them, and then spray the stalks and get a good dripping wet with the copper spray. And that should give you really good protection for next year.
All right, again, 541-776-5770. I'm not sure what Wayne's question means, but let me give it to you. It says, lynch and inflamed grapes. Leaves are bubbling and the grapes aren't maturing. What's happening?
The bubbling leaves is caused by a disease called rust.
Rust.
Yeah, it's called blister rust because it makes the leaves blister up. And it is a common problem with those. And again, copper spray in the fall, clean up those infected leaves, get rid of them, and then copper spray the branches, the vines, the whole thing in the fall. And again, early in the spring, just as that new growth begins to come on, because we want to protect that new growth when it first comes on, and that's really important.
So he's not going to get a crop this year?
If he's, it's too late now. If he doesn't have any decent grapes on it now, he won't. Now, it could be another thing affecting the grapes, because usually the rust doesn't affect the fruit. But I'm not sure what that would be affecting the fruit itself. There could be any number of things.
Okay. Penny wants to know, when is a good time to transplant peonies?
In the daytime. You know, it's hard to see at night, so usually in the daytime. Is that good enough? No. The peonies, the best timing for those is when they're dormant. So wait until the foliage freezes and falls, prune them back, dig them. You can divide them and move them and replant them at that time. That's the best timing. You could actually get by with doing some of that moving now if you wanted to. They're pretty resilient little plants, and so you could dig them up. As long as you just dig up the chunk and plant it, you're in pretty good shape. I wouldn't do a lot of dividing right now, but the better time would be as they're dormant.
All right. On these mumps, now, of course, you can put them inside now,
Yes.
water them. You could put them in pots. If you put them outside, is it going to get too cold for them?
If they freeze, then the flowers won't look as nice. So if you can keep the frost off of them, if you put them outside, if they're under cover or something like that, they'll be fine. If they're out in a frost, then the flowers are going to go a lot quicker. So indoors in a pot, outdoors, just think about it if we're going to have a freeze. But, you know, we're in pretty good shape right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
It is getting cool at night, though, you know. And
it's getting close.
All right. Any last-minute advice?
Don't look directly at the sun. If you want to go outside, make sure you're inside first. And gardening advice.
See what happens when you smell too much fertilizer?
Yeah. Been around the flowers too long.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing is fall is great for decorating, and so get those flower pots cleaned out, get the summer stuff out of there. Summer is so yesterday. Get some fresh fall stuff. Get in there. You'll love it. You can even take branches and twigs and things and put them in your color bowls.
Yeah.
And add that to your color bowls along with the flowers and things like that too. So it's a lot of fun to do.
Londa wants to know, something is eating her cabbage and broccoli leaves.
That is probably, well, it could be slugs and snails. It could also be the cabbage looper, which is a little green caterpillar-like thing, and they love those things. If you see these tiny little white butterflies that flutter around all over the place, they're laying the eggs for those guys. Okay. The same thing we use on the petunias for the budworm control. It's the boar bagworm spray by Fertilome. That is an all-natural product. You can use that on them, and it will control them. Does a great job. So.
Okay, there you go. Cut the water back?
Yes, I have cut my watering back about half.
Really? For your
maybe
lawn?
even a little more on lawn and my drips. Yeah, so you can cut back quite a bit. Start to mow your lawn a little shorter now. You know, we've kept them tall for the summer to keep the soil cool and the crown cool and reduce evaporation. Now we start to bring that down. So each time you mow, you might drop it down another notch. You want to keep it down about 2 inches maybe even a little shorter than that as we get into fall and winter.
Okay, again, Four Seasons Nursery, they're out on Crater Lake Highway, Highway 62. You get off there on Vilas Road, turn around. No, keep going the right way. Get on the frontage road and sneak on up to about a half mile. You'll see it off to the right there. Open 9 to 5 every day. And again, a great resource if you are a gardening addict is to get a hold of their newsletter when it comes out. And it comes out here and there, and especially with the one for the lawn care. And you can do that by going to the Four Seasons Nursery online.com. Long name, an amazing place. Again, that's Four Seasons Nursery online.com. All right, Stephanie wants to know how soon to prune the grapes. Well, if they've harvested, I guess you kind of let them fall off, don't you, kind of before you actually prune them back?
Yeah, you usually wait until the foliage goes. It makes it a lot easier to get into them. You could do some pruning on them now. It's fine, but if you allow the leaves to fall, then they're taking all that energy from the leaves and bringing it back into the plant and storing that up. And so, it's better to wait until the leaves are gone.
Okay. Laura wants to know what kind of fertilizer should she put on her raised beds. They're full of dirt right now.
Are you trying to grow more dirt, or what? If you're going to just leave it over the winter.
Yeah, I was going to say dormant through the winter.
If you just leave it dormant through the winter, I wouldn't put really any fertilizer on there. You could use something maybe with an extra amount of phosphorus. The Gardener Special by Fertilome. Use that a lot in the garden right now to kind of help keep it through the winter. And that's okay, but nitrogen you're going to have to replace in the spring anyways, and so consider you still have to feed in spring.
All right, we're about out of time, so I'll wait for them to bring the names, but what should we be doing with vegetables?
Well, of course, we're finishing up that harvest on a lot of those, and we had I know this isn't for you, but we had a cantaloupe plant. I knew that was going to happen. We had a cantaloupe plant come up in our shrub bed this year, and it just started getting ripe. Yeah, it came up on its own. So we are enjoying cantaloupe from a volunteer plant. But anyways, finish up your harvesting. If you're going to be doing any winter gardening, you're running out of time getting that stuff in. So finish up putting in your winter gardens, lettuces and broccoli and cole crops like cauliflower and cabbage, getting all that stuff in. If you can create a little hoop and cover that over the winter, you may even be able to get some harvesting on that stuff through winter as well.
All right. That's the advice. You heard it here with Tim Elbert. All right, somebody's going to win this beautiful mum. It's gorgeous. It's just absolutely spectacular. And if you don't like this color, he does have other colors out there. Let's see who our winner is today. And I, again, apologize for our technical issues, but we got through it anyway.
And Sue.
Sue.
Yep.
All right, Sue, we'll get a hold of you, and you can get this beautiful mum. And congratulations, because it is a beautiful one. And if you're looking for all kinds of color, now's the time to spruce up the yard a little bit, clean it all out, do your pruning, do all the things that we talked about. Your lawn should do fine. You may want to cut the watering back a little bit.
Yep, cut back on the watering, reduce the height on the lawn.
Are you doing any fertilizing on the lawn right now?
Yeah, the Fertilome Classic and the Natural Guard Soil Activator. Both of those products going down now.
Even a lawn that is extremely, extremely dormant. I won't use the word dead, but it sure has the appearance of it.
As long as it's only dormant, then yes, feed it, because you really want it to push some growth and get coming up. Yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, folks, again, check it out. Four Seasons Nursery, Highway 62. Get off on Vilas Road, go up there a little bit. You'll see it off to the right. Gorgeous place, great advice, lots of color. And by the way, all their pansies. And there's a bunch of them. I don't know how many you got. Tons of them, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, more coming in today.
They are homegrown out of the Elbert greenhouse. So let me tell you, they are special. And they're nice, big, and pretty. And you can put them on your salad.
You can.
You can.
Pansies are edible.
I know you can. All right. Anyway, they're open from 9 to 5 every day. Check it out. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
And congratulations, Sue, on your getting the mum.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I work at theDove TV. Every weekday between 6 and 8 a.m., our award-winning news and sports team bring you the best morning show around. It's live, it's honest, and it's a whole lot of fun. And you help make it happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to air local programs that share your voice by making a secure online donation at our website, theDove.us.